is an apology to Greta Gerwig. This is what this section is going to be called. For those of you that don't know, Greta Gerwig is a director. She's a film director from Sacramento, Northern California. Represent. Woo. Not the Kings. Fuck the Kings. Warriors are better. But she is from Northern California, and she, 2018, I want to say, didn't drop. It's not an album, but she released the movie Ladybird. And when I watched this movie for the first time in 2018, I was a senior in high school. So you would think, oh, Anuj is going to love this movie. It's a coming of age film that talks all about his favorite themes, this, that, and the other, and Timothée Chalamet. Oh my God, Timothée Chalamet. I fucking hated this movie in 2018. I hated it. I thought it was so garbage. I thought the pacing was awful. I thought it was going for a coming of age movie, but it really was about nothing. That's what I felt like. I felt like it was just a patched up version of Boyhood. I felt like it was a worse version of Boyhood. And what I didn't realize in 2018 is that this movie actually has a much deeper meaning than just what is on the screen. And I think back then I was just looking for something obvious to wrap my head around, and I couldn't necessarily do that back in 2018. But fast forward a couple of years, here we are in 2021. It was a boring Friday night, and I decided to play Ladybird and watch it for the second time because I'd low-key forgotten about it. And honestly, wow, I was floored this second time I watched Ladybird. It's the movie, in one word to probably describe this movie, is exquisite. I mean, I thought I don't watch very many movies, given I'm not a big movie guy. I'm more into TV shows. I know that's a hot take, but this movie it gave me a feeling after watching a movie that I haven't had in a really long time. And I don't really know how to describe that feeling, but it kind of gave me, I couldn't talk after I watched this movie for a few minutes. Like, I had to process what I'd just seen. And it's a really well done movie. And I'm here to say to everybody, this movie is not for everyone. This movie is 100% not for everyone. There are a lot of people on this planet that probably dislike this movie with a passion. And I was one of those people till about 4 days ago. Greta Gerwig did a fantastic job with this movie. I mean, like, the way it is presented, the shots, the cinematography, the story. There's no story. That's the point of this film, is that there's no story. But there are incredible themes throughout the film that if you catch on, and you catch on to the characters and you invest yourself within the characters of the movie, you're gonna love what comes at the end. And it's a full circle. That's the best way to describe Ladybird, is that it goes from one end of the spectrum to another. And I think it wraps up quite nicely. A lot of people don't like the ending, I feel like, but it's such a beautiful ending. I mean, I watched it right before this, just the ending. That last scene got me, bro. I think it's maybe because I started driving. And sorry for those of you who haven't seen it. It's not really a spoiler. It doesn't really spoil anything. But the main character says in the last little bit, it's not even a monologue. It's like 3 sentences. But one of the sentences is, "Mom, do you remember did you get emotional the first time you drove in Sacramento?" And I hadn't started driving at 17. At 18, when I watched this movie for the first time, I hadn't really driven around my hometown, or my home area, the South Bay. But I think now, having driven a lot more, having been in a car and driven through those roads, and the way just the shots go together, and it talks about like the emotion behind driving through your hometown for the first time, it captures that moment so beautifully. That ending is just, like, I love it. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, the first time I drove through Cupertino, which is where I grew up in Northern California, it was a little emotional. Like, it was a little cool. And, and it's because you've been on those roads your whole life, but this is the first time you're driving on it. I'm curious to see like what people think. Like, were they emotional when they drove through their hometowns for the first time? Like, is that just a me thing? Like, I don't know what it was, but I just related to that moment so heavily that it just made a lot of sense. And also, I saw a lot of myself within this character of Ladybird, who is a very like supposed to be, I thought was super unlikable my senior year of high school. But the more I distanced myself from that time in my life, the more I realized I was a lot like her, a lot more than I would have probably liked to think at the time. And yeah, I mean that's the truth. I was a lot like Lady Bird in high school. Yeah, but the point is, this movie is definitely worth a second watch. I understand it's not for everybody. This is definitely not a movie for every single person out there. But if you are open to giving things a second chance, like I got lucky to give this movie a second chance, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm gonna say this to all of you: I highly recommend this movie if you want to I highly recommend this movie for the first time, for the second time, for the third time. I think it's a great movie, and I'm here to apologize to Greta Gerwig. So I'm gonna look right in the camera right now, and I'm gonna look at you, Greta, because I know you're watching this. I know you're one of the 10 viewers that watches the Changavi show. I'm sorry, Greta Gerwig, for calling you all sorts of mean names in 2018 when you got nominated for Oscars for this film, because I thought this film was absolute garbage. I am here to realize, and I'm here to tell you right now, and I'm telling you into the mic and looking at you, this was a huge mistake. I shouldn't have said those things. I shouldn't have called you mean names, and I shouldn't have said that you were a bad director. You are a great director. I haven't checked out your other stuff. I'm not going to lie to you, but this movie was awesome. And Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf killed it. And I think your direction and the way you highlighted the city of Sacramento made me want to root for Sacramento, which is something I never thought I would want to root for in my life. So I'm sorry, Greta. I'm sorry.